Welcome to episode 8 of the BB&J Show, our 7th manga, and if you've been keeping up with that this entire time, you have my respect. I am Jay, and that lovely, handsome man, let's see if I can point the right way. No, I pointed the wrong way. Over there is BB. Say hello, BB.
Hello, how's everyone?
Hopefully good. We'll find out in the comments, I suppose.
I don't know what to say in these things.
That's perfect. BB, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm always excited to do these things. So honestly,
Same.
like I say it every single time. I'm just ready for this.
Let's go. We got a pretty good show for you lined up. I'm really excited to talk about some things. BB got me revved up before the show, sent me some articles, and now, Todd in my neck is bulging, and there may be some yelling and screaming to come a little later. So what we got, it is the April 2nd. We have the releases for April. It's kind of a light month, to be honest, when you showed me the thing. We have some Zelda news that maybe some folks who are Zelda fans are not too happy with. And then we have PlayStation being greedy old PlayStation once again. But first, let's start with the April releases. BB, tell us what we have on tap for the gamers amongst us, which...
All right, so this month, it's kind of a light month. We don't have too many, big things coming out. I would say...
Well, sizes and everything.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. I would say the biggest title that we're going to be seeing this month is going to be Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. I'm actually excited for that because it's the whole collection of Star Wars games, or the Lego Star Wars games, right? All packed in one, and I will have to say that brings back memories because I remember playing that first Lego Star Wars game, and it brings back that good old couch co-op, right? I remember playing that with my brother for hours, and we kept playing each one that released. They're just so good. They're just so funny. They're so good, and I can't wait to get my hands on that one. That one's gonna be pretty cool. But that one is on April 5th. Is when we're getting the Skywalker Saga.
I will say it took me a minute and 41 seconds to break BB, so I'm happy about that. Put that one down. Done. And as far as the Lego Star Wars games, I missed out on all the Lego games that came out around that time. It was late 2000s, 2007 through 2012, I think was their real heyday. They had Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego this, Lego that. I mean, I think at one point they had Lego, I don't know, Lego Build-A-Blocks or something. But I missed out on it, but everybody I know that has played it really speaks highly of it. So the fact, I love one large collection. So I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, and the Mass Effect Legendary Collection allows you to play all the Mass Effects in one. You just click launch, and it launches, and it's all in one. So I'm really excited for those who are Lego Star Wars fans.
Yeah, and with the Mass Effect game, it's cool that you get to have all the DLC and everything in one, so I totally understand that.
Yeah,
I do like when all the games contain everything all together. That's awesome.
Stop making me switch discs.
Yeah. Wait, what's a disc? Okay, I'm just kidding, sorry. Following that same day is going to be Mlb the Show 22. I will tell you, I've never played any Mlb the Show game, but I know it's pretty massive. I know a lot of people love that, the sports games. I believe that's basketball, right? Okay.
Please tell me you were joking, because I feel
like joke. I'm so sorry.
Thor is gonna break through somehow. You'll break through the screen. I think somewhere in the middle of the United States, Thor just his neck twitched, and he doesn't know why. What? Something just happened. He doesn't know why. He's kind of like. I will say I'm a sports gamer. I love sports games. I'm not athletic. I know you're shocked. By looking at me, you're shocked, and you're saying, you're not an athlete. I understand, but let the shock sink in. I am not an athlete, but I love sports games. Basketball is my all-time favorite sport, so I love the NBA 2Ks. But I also, even going back to the Nintendo 64, era, I used to play Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. So I was always into, like, just I play the game of baseball on in video game form more than I could watch it. So
Gotcha.
I actually am debating between WWE and MLB, and I think I'm leaning MLB because
Okay.
some of the things that I learned about WWE pissed me off already. I
I
haven't even
can
played it.
understand.
The GM
Yeah.
mode, that's supposed to be their greatest thing, is just one on
Yeah.
one or 2v2, and there's only two titles. Basically, it's very watered down. If you watch
Gotcha.
wrestling, it's
Gotcha.
nothing like what you want. So they can go, licking a dirty pickle. Um, so I'm probably leaning towards MLB if I pick up either one. So that's coming out towards the end of the month. So it's the what date is that? The 15th?
No, no, no. That's the same day as the Skywalker Saga. So April 5th.
Ah, the 5th. Oh, it's right
In a
around the
few
corner.
days. Yeah, yeah, in a few days. But yeah, I also play the 2K games. I love basketball and I love the soccer. I will say, don't really play the FIFA games just because, just FIFA's just a meme at this point. But, um, I'm excited for Basketball the Show 2022. All right, moving on to
Direct all angry comments at BB this time. This one is the BB Flames the baseball community episode.
oh my gosh. But following that, we have later in the month, April 20th, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Looks like we're getting that that game before my time.
No, okay, look. Of all the relics they could have dusted off and brought back, I don't understand. Like, I played Force Unleashed, because it was somebody got it for me as a gift. My brother got it for me as a gift, and I played it. It was okay. Like,
Pretty cool. I
yeah,
would say the second one was a lot better.
I never played the second one. I played the first. It was okay. Like, wasn't bad. It didn't offend me. It didn't piss me off. But it was just okay. And
Yeah.
so when you showed me this list, when you sent me the list, I was like, what? It was the first and only game that I said anything about. I was like, what, they're bringing this back? Why?
Yeah.
I'm so utterly confused. I don't understand it. I'm not against it. But I
Yeah.
don't necessarily get it either. It's, of all the properties they could have dredged up from way back when to put on the
True.
Switch randomly, I don't know. It's a curious move to me. Maybe there's some larger plan here that was said and spoken about and released you know months ago or whatever. But I wasn't paying attention because I don't care for the Switch. But
Yeah.
it's curious case.
It's just the Switch getting a little love. I mean, maybe not with the best games, but at least they're getting some of the old school. I mean, for me that's old school, but
If you're not like me and think the Switch sucks,
it's not that bad.
I just don't
it
like
could
the
be
Switch.
better, but I understand. But yeah, that's coming to Switch. It looks probably exactly the same as it did back then. So, if you're excited for some more Star Wars, you're gonna get The Force Unleashed on April 20th. And pretty much to kind of finalize the releases for this month, it's going to be Nintendo Switch Sports on the 29th. That one does bring me back because it's basically I mean, I guess you can call it like a sequel, right? To the Wii Sports. As soon as I saw it and I saw that you could be your Mii character, I was like, "Oh yes, this is where it was at." I remember putting so many hours with my family and friends, like with the Wii Sports, and I'll tell you that bowling, I'm a champ. All right, so don't at me if you're trying to 1v1 me and bowling. But
So
that one's gonna be at the end of the month on April 29th.
come to New York, do some real bowling, and let's see.
Fam,
BB&J go
man.
bowling.
Oh, bro, you don't want the smoke. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
I
okay?
actually was in the league. Okay, I actually have trophies in. trophies and
Okay,
shit.
I don't have a trophy, but I was
I
in
have,
a
I
in a league
have a
as
bowl.
well.
I have a bowling trophy. So
Oh, oh,
yeah.
okay. Flex your
Yeah.
trophy. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
let's
Oh yeah.
go. Let's go.
I had custom. I had custom everything. Okay. I was into it.
Excuse me. Your
Yeah,
bowling
yeah,
champ over here,
yeah.
my bad.
I wasn't using those scrub balls. I had my own case. I had my own shoes. I had my own powder.
Wow.
I showed up with my glove, my towel.
So you were like,
Yeah, I was the LeBron James. I was like,
oh my god.
I was LeBron in it at the little freaking thing where the balls come out.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Well, okay, so that's gonna be at the end of the month. I'm pretty excited for that one. I think a lot of the Switch owners are gonna be excited for that one too, because especially if you play the Wii Sports, the original.
yeah.
I could say that's gonna be pretty cool. But that pretty much wraps up the section for new releases. Like I said, there's not too many big releases coming out. But with that being said, there is a big release, a release that everyone's been waiting for, and it just got hit with what I would say some kind of bad news.
It got
And
hit
that is-
with the
yeah.
standard game industry news, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah, you're right. It does. I just look like I'm not against delays.
Right.
I am not. I prefer delays. I prefer for games to keep, getting cooked and just, working on them, whatever it is, try to make them bug free, adding stuff, whatever
Yeah.
you need to do to to enhance the game, right? I just don't like when now. Okay, I guess we can keep in mind that with Zelda, there was technically no release date, right?
To clarify, you're talking about Breath of the Wild 2 being
Yes.
pushed back, just so
Yeah.
that way everybody who's watching is able to follow along. That's exactly what we're talking about.
I was talking about Star Citizen. Sorry.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
But yes, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they're gonna call it. I think that's what they're calling it too. Now Breath of the Wild 2.
Breathment of the Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't have an actual release date. It was just kind of like projected to release at a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2022. 2022 came around. No news from it for a while, and then they were assuming that it was going to be on like a Nintendo Direct, where they were going to show more of it, more gameplay, or an actual gameplay trailer, right?
Right.
Instead of like the cutscenes and all. And I will say that the announcement for the delay was kind of interesting. I never really seen something like it. It was basically just kind of like, they were going over like the game is in progress, they're working on it and everything, and then it was that was it. There was like, it's gonna be delayed to spring 2023. And then they showed like, it was so weird because they were trying to explain like why, right? It's been delayed and all that, but it was so weird because like they showed us like snippets of the game.
Yeah.
They just didn't technically show us gameplay. It was all looked, like probably like pre-rendered stuff, right? But yeah, it was just that video of them just saying, it's gonna be delayed to 2023. I'm not sure why they needed to show a whole video, but I guess that's just how they roll. Nintendo,
That's Nintendo for you. Nintendo.
Yeah, that's just Nintendo.
Nintendo does Nintendo things.
Yeah.
Look, so I am not a fan of the Switch. I'm not a fan of, honestly, Nintendo consoles. I swear, people might be upset at me for this, but I wish Nintendo went the Sega route. Get out of the console business, keep making software, and just release their classic stuff on other platforms and stuff. I'd love to play Super Mario on PC, because, yeah, I'm sure they're making money, but the Switch is not necessary. Nobody needs a Switch.
I see.
But that said, I'm not gonna argue that there are people who love the Switch and play it. I've watched plenty of streamers who stream a lot of Switch games. One of those Switch games being Breath of the Wild. Now, I've never really been a big Zelda person. I was more Super Mario player, fan. but I do remember playing, what was it, Ocarina of Time, I think, on Nintendo 64. That was a big
I don't
one.
know.
Yeah, way before your time. But that was a big one that was big back in the day and that I enjoyed. And then I seen a lot of Breath of the Wild. It doesn't look interesting to me. I'm sorry. I
Hmm.
have to be honest.
Hmm.
It doesn't look interesting. It doesn't look appealing. So, I was like, whatever. When they were like Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
Now, all of that being said, I support a delay
Hmm.
over doing what Halo Infinite did, releasing
Correct.
piecemeal or anything like that. So, while I understand in the short term it's a potential negative or bad news situation, my opinion, if they're gonna actually take the time to improve the game and make it better and all of that stuff, then go for it. Now, one
Hmm.
thing I saw on the in the article you linked, it was sort of like those videos that are on the page, like the splash video,
Yeah.
that might be potentially a bad thing. I think is that they were like, is this going to be a Switch 2 or whatever? I don't know, launch title. I don't know
Mm.
if Switch 2 is the name of the next
Yeah.
console, but if they're pushing it back in order to try to cross platform it, that could be
Mm.
dangerous because that's what happened to
Okay.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly. Yep,
so
you're right.
if they're delaying it for something like that, I'm a little worried for Breath of the Wild fans. If they're
Hmm.
delaying it for other things like, we want to figure out how we can squeeze, I don't know, microtransactions or something, some other nonsense, NFTs, which seems to be the,
Oh
the
God.
the herpes in the gaming community now. They're around, they're infected, and they're not going away. So, um, if that's why the delays are here, then that's, in my opinion, not good. But we'll see, the finished product. We're going to have to wait and see. But if you're a Breath of the Wild fan, you would take care to sort of pay attention to what is happening
Hmm.
uh, with the delay.
No, yeah, you're right. If like that's what I was saying as well. Like I'm all for delays. I just don't. You see, they played it a kind of a safe route. Just saying at least not giving us a release date at first, and then saying, "Oh, we're gonna push it back," right? Because
Hmm.
that is kind of when you see the big red flags at the and now after the biggest one, which would be Cyberpunk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get a release date, right?
Hmm.
Everyone gets hype and everything, and then you push it back. That's when it's a red flag because then it's
Yeah.
just like, oh well, they project it to be done by then, right?
Hmm.
And whatever it is that they can't fix in enough time, they need more time. But does that mean that they need more time than what they project the second time, right? I would
Hmm.
assume so because like that's what happens when unexpected things come. I
Yeah.
would prefer for someone just to give like the way the Nintendo went, where it's like, oh, it's projected to come out around this time, but not give a specific release date, right?
Yeah.
Um, but now they're like, okay, but we're still working on it, so I think we're going to push it back to 2023. You see, like that's in a way, it's a little bit better to do it that way, just so you
Hmm.
don't give anyone that sense of like, oh, I can't wait, hype them up for a specific date or a
Yeah.
time frame, right? And then just be like, oh, actually, no, we're not ready.
Yeah.
But and you're right. If they're gonna do something like that, where it's going to go to the next gen, that is kind of scary because it's like is it going to run well on the previous one, is it really meant for the second generation or whatever
Hmm.
they're going to do, right?
Hmm.
So hopefully it's if it is, it's probably like released on the Switch if they're
Yeah.
making a new Switch, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's released on the Switch first and then they can do like a port or something for the next one.
Mm.
I would say that would probably be the safest route to go just because but I'm not too worried if they do make a second like Switch or something cuz but like the Switch, comparing that to like a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series, right? It doesn't have like the same power as those consoles. So
Mm.
I'm not too worried if the next one I mean, unless the next one will be competing against those types of systems, then I would be worried as
Yeah.
much more because then I'd be like, oh well, now you're talking about running a completely new engine and a new,
Yeah.
and a new console. But
Yeah.
if they're just going to like tweak some things in a new console, kind of like how they did with the OLED model, where
Hmm.
it's like the OLED LED, because it's like it's just a screen they really did, and they made it a little bit bigger, and that was it. There
Yeah.
wasn't really too many like changes. I would say that that's probably it's not as bad as
Mm.
like
Mm.
the other releases that would be like cross platform. I don't
I
know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, Nintendo's unique in
Hmm.
how their system is set up, their model and market that they seek. They're not going toe to toe graphically with either a PlayStation 5, 4, even a PlayStation 3. You know, they pretty much topped out at PS2 graphics, and look,
Yeah.
people who enjoy, there's a lot of people who love the Switch, and, more power to them. So I do agree that in the sense that it's not the same thing, they're kind of just sort of tweaking. But it's a cautionary thing because if they're releasing a new console at full price, whatever full price for them is, like $5 and a stick of gum, um, they're still releasing a full fledged console. That's an
Yeah.
upgrade. So it's gonna have more power, more it's early generation, uh, early next gen, and late current gen are the closest they'll ever be, right? Because
Hmm.
as the generation goes on, uh, console makers allow developers to use more and more power from processing power. From what I'm understanding, with the consoles, is how basically
Correct.
games get better from throughout within the generation. So
Yeah. True.
it's gonna be a close sort of system wise. So it should not be too much of a difference. It should be okay. But I still kind of worry that what's the impetus for pushing it back? Is it actually
Hmm.
that they're pushing it back to work on it, or is it they can sort of speed it up and get it out sooner, but they're going to hold off in order to get to the next gen? Like,
It could be. You're right. Yeah.
you know,
It's kind of hard to like pick which one, right?
yeah, and I mean, I think they were smart in doing it because one of the running joke with Cyberpunk was every time Cyberpunk gave a release date, people were like, "Oh, that date, that's just the date when we're going to get another 6 month delay." You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
so yeah, it's smart to just sort of
And I
until
mean, it technically was right because
yeah.
even when it released, we still didn't get the game, like the full game, till like a few months ago.
Yeah, and I still don't
You
think we
know.
got the full game yet.
Well,
It's still
true. We got half or maybe close to the end of the actual game.
yeah. So it's one of those things where, like, I'm not. It's not the delay that concerns me. It's the potential reasoning behind it. That if I'm a Breath of the Wild fan, I may just keep an ear to the ground and sort of
Hmm.
uh, try to keep tabs on what's going on with the development
Yeah.
as much as they're gonna
Oh.
give, because they're not gonna give away
Yeah, they're
everything.
very, very, very like secretive. That's just the Nintendo way. They're just kind of like, oh, well, we'll tell you when, when they're actually ready to announce anything at all. I mean, they're usually like that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. And speaking of delays, this one's technically a delay, but also cancellation.
Mm.
E3.
Yeah.
A lot of people were expecting E3 this year with at least a digital version, right?
Yeah.
There wasn't too. I mean, there was hope for the return of the live one, right,
Mm-hmm.
in person. But everyone was thinking that we would still at least get a digital version, which I thought would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe like as a community to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's always awesome to see those events like together with people. I remember I watched I think it was like one of my very first, because I never had seen it. I don't know if it was the very first time it was a thing, but it was the first time I watched the Game Awards. I watched it with the Guybrush community.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome getting to talk to each other.
Yeah.
With, oh man, that game looks cool, or like,
Mhm.
nah, that game looks cheesy, right? It's just
Mhm.
the experience, right? I think that's the whole thing about E3.
Yeah.
But yeah, sadly, it has been canceled for this year, both digital or in person, and it looks like they're trying to come back in 2023.
Now, did they give so I saw this a bunch through Discord and
Mhm.
Twitter a lot today, but I haven't had the chance to sit down and sort of read the article through. They give a reason as to why. I mean, I'm assuming COVID.
Mhm. I
Uh,
mean, I
but
think honestly, I
digitally,
think that might be the only thing. But you're right. I haven't seen really like an actual confirmation from them. It's just everyone else, I guess, he either is part of E3 or works for E3 or
Mm.
whatever. Like they've all been like, stating that yeah, it's been canceled.
Yeah, and of course, I was suspect originally because of the day the news came out. Today is April 1st that we record, a day before the show is released. So it was April 1st that this was announced. So I was skeptical, but my understanding is that this actually is in fact or at least a thing it's
Mhm.
canceled. I'm I'm of two minds at this point. I used to remember when E3 was big, when it was a thing you wanted to go to. Like, you waited
Yes.
for E3. You waited for,
Oh man, yeah.
um, you waited for E3 to get the teaser of the game you were waiting on. I mean,
Oh god.
Mass Effect
Hmm.
2, Mass Effect 2's E3, I think it was, God, I think it was E309 or E3, yeah, I think it was E309 or E308. That video where it's like it was like parts of a mission on Ilium. Man, I was through the roof excited. And same thing with Mass Effect 3 when they went to E3 and all of that. So like you used to look forward to it, but I have not been excited,
Hmm.
nor did I care for an E3 in 10 years minimum. 2012 maybe was the last one.
What?
Yeah.
Jay, do you not remember the best E3 there was when they announced Anthem?
This is the last episode of the BB&J Show, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be
Jay, that was the most amazing trailer that never made it into the game. Are you serious? That was the best E3, bro. Oh my god. Okay, I'm out of line, Brand. I'm sorry. I'm trying to spice it up, bro.
yeah. Anywho, E3 as a thing, maybe I don't know. I think it's past its point of usefulness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been cool to have like a small small digital one, right? Just to kind of like show you all the new trailers and cuz I mean, now it's just like the own developers just randomly drop their new game trailers
That's what I
whenever,
mean.
right?
And like PlayStation has their own thing, Nintendo has
Hmm.
their own
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
Xbox has their own thing. The guy on the corner in his garage with 3 computers has his own thing. Like everybody has their own thing, and nobody brings anything good to E3 because they're saving it for their own shit. They
That's
want people to
true. That's
watch their
true.
own thing. So this idea, E3 as it currently exists,
Hmm.
where it's a
True.
expo
Actually.
for thing, I think it served its purpose. And now everybody's like, why are we going to E3 when we can just
Hmm.
generate traffic on our own website? Why are we
That's true.
competing with, Sony? Like, Sony's like, why are we competing with Microsoft and who had the better E3 show? Fuck
Yeah.
that. We're going to do our
Yeah.
own show. Like, and it makes sense from a business standpoint, but that's why I think
It does. Yeah.
E3 as an idea, E3 as it currently exists, E3 as the place to go and watch trailers and see what's coming out
Yeah.
is not is it's past its point. And
Hmm.
so when I read that today, the first thing that I read that I thought was I'm surprised that they canceled the digital as well. But I'm
Yeah, that I
guessing,
honestly was that was probably the one that I was more like, oh, kind of confused. Like, oh, I
yeah.
thought they would at least do a digital one, but yeah.
I'm assuming my assumption with that is they were planning for in person and they didn't have the infrastructure in place for a virtual. So they made the decision to
Mhm.
cancel the in person at a point in which they didn't have enough time to get the digital up and running.
So
And
I have a little like an article from IGN that kind of explains a little bit of it. Um,
this is where we need our
it was
breaking news song. Yeah,
it's just in.
it's just into the
E3.
BB&J news desk.
It's just a little thing that just says that they want to focus their resources to deliver kind of like a new take on E3, a new like format and a new interactive experience where from the small companies they're like bringing in either their new games and also even the other bit like bigger companies too, like bringing in like new devices to showcase.
Mm.
So it looks like it'll be more of a hands-on experience where it's not really focused like we were just talking about like trailers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like new games or whatever. But I think they're trying to make this more of like a hands-on type of um experience than how it was before. I think that's why you're probably right that that's basically what they're trying to do, where they couldn't do the physical, so they were like, oh well, we didn't even work on a backup,
Yeah.
so let's just not do anything. Yeah,
And I mean,
that's, from IGN it looks like it was updated recently.
and that's the thing. Like, I feel like they understood what I just said, that they're as D3 as it existed was not needed anymore. You know, it's like you were. It was either, I feel like it was either they needed to change or they were going to go away. And smaller companies, smaller games are the ones that kind of suffer the most, right? Because they don't have the platform.
Yeah, true.
And I understand that, but at the same time, I feel like this is a better format to let smaller companies come in and let them have playable demos. Let them have, playable
Exactly.
tech demos and as game developers, look, you guys are going to have to step up your game to stand out as far as what is a demo. You can't I understand gaming development is hard. And I want to give the game devs as much slack, leeway, and credit as I possibly can. But you cannot come with a 5-minute run in a circle demo and that's all you got and expect people to get excited. You got to give... Look, the era of gaming is changing. Demos got to change with it. Everything's got to change. And E3 is one of the things that got to change. The way people present at E3's got to change. Look, we're able to sit here in 2 different parts of the country and record this where, 7 years ago, this would have been an insanely difficult task?
I mean, yeah, true. Yeah, we'd have to fly out.
Right. Or, you would have to jerry-rig some version of Skype or something to get this going, even just 7 years ago. And so as everything in life changes, they've got to change. So E3, I hope they can revamp and rework and come back, better than ever. And I hope that the game developers that are presenting at E3 and everything, they can start to adapt and sort of maybe, I don't know, have like a side project that's like your E3 team that works on something that's specific for E3, because you gotta stand out.
No, that's true. Yeah, I feel like at this point that's basically what they should, and that might be their focus, is that the more hands-on experience, like the more like show the tech, right, and not necessarily the games itself. Maybe, I mean, yeah, the demo, the whole demo work would be cool. Have people be able to play like the demos and everything like they used to. But yeah, changing it up is looks like that's what they are focusing on, trying to give something new. Because you're right, it goes back to everyone, the major platforms having their own thing, right? I mean, look when we saw like the Halo Infinite launch, right? Like
that wasn't E3.
That wasn't E3. That was literally Xbox, just like game after game after game after demo after game. So it's like, it was like, now they all have their own thing. So it's kind of hard, like, to see, like, in a way. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, in a way, I wasn't really affected by the E3 cancellation, because I was just kind of like, oh, well, I mean, it's like, I wish that they did at least like a digital one, just to see like cool new stuff. Because I mean, who doesn't want to see new stuff? But in a way, it's like, well, you still have Xbox and Nintendo. You have was it the Game Awards? We saw some cool stuff from the Game Awards as well. Like, so
that's what I mean. There's just so many. It's oversaturated now. Because the thing E3 gave you was that trailer, right? You were anticipating the trailer, because you weren't really unless you were there, you weren't playing a demo.
Exactly.
So 90% of the people that were excited for E3 were like, "What's the trailer?" And now it's, What's the trailer at the PlayStation show? What's the trailer at the Nintendo show? What's the trailer at the Xbox? What's the trailer at the Video Game Awards? What's the trailer at the sun is going over the earth this way awards? What's the trailer at the trees have green leaves award? What's the trailer that's going to happen in the moonlight after you sacrifice a virgin with a wooden cooking spoon? So it's just so many places where you can get trailers. It's just, you know, it's oversaturated. Is the point I'm trying to make.
The point is that it's oversaturated. No, you're right. So hopefully, next year when they come back, we get to see something cool, something new. You know, I'm always down to see a team come up with something new and fresh and like have an idea, a new take on it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, on top of that, that leads us to our next topic here.
Nothing new. PlayStation being greedy as hell. This is actually as old as dirt, I believe.
PlayStation, you technically didn't have a subscription-based service. They kind of do because you have to play online, right? So that is a subscription, but they didn't have something similar to what Xbox is like has thrown everything at, which is like Game Pass.
Technically, right? I kind of want to just interject for a moment, and I don't like interrupting, and I don't like doing this, but I will say from personal experience, when you have PlayStation Plus, there was monthly free PlayStation Plus games.
Correct,
and when you downloaded it, you got it and kept it for as long as you had PlayStation Plus. So I feel like they had a version of this already. And once again, PlayStation being greedy, this isn't good enough. They're going to milk every last penny they can out of you. And I was reading these tiers, and I'm going to let you get back to it in a second. It's appalling, to be honest with you. It's that they have the nerve. This is like when they came out with the PlayStation 3 and was like, the price of a PlayStation 3 is your firstborn child, you know? It's like, and they said that shit with a straight face. It's very similar. But go on.
But yeah, you're right. They do have like the whole monthly thing, right? Where you get like free games, included with like the online, right? The main thing I guess was that you got to have online to be able to play with friends, which I guess, right?
Assuming you have friends.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's friends, right? I mean.
Anyway.
Yeah, but they did have that type of subscription, right? And then on top of that, they had like I guess it was. I mean, it's not really compared to Xbox Game Pass because they try to add to the library, but it was called it's called PlayStation Now, right? Where you're able to like stream the game or download it, and that's like an additional price, right? And that was like their other subscription. But now they have announced the ultimate package here. Okay? The subscriptions of subscriptions. Yeah. All right. They not only came out with a new idea, but they came out with 3 new ideas. Okay, there's tiers to this. All right. It's the essential, extra, or premium tiers. That's what we're having here. We have the $9.99, which is the essential, which pretty much gives you like the basic, like your online play, right? Your PS Plus, if you would say, because that was like what it was called, and I guess technically it's still called that until they actually released it.
$5 more than Xbox Lives or Xbox Game Pass basic tier. I think it's basic tier. The basic Xbox Live.
The basic one, I think. So technically, they don't have like a. I don't think they have like Xbox has a live monthly anymore.
No, not live. I meant Game Pass.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so they have a comparison chart. So
yeah.
Xbox
I have it on my phone here.
For console and PC, it's the same price. The $9.99.
Is it really? When was it? Why do I remember paying $4.99 for something?
They have special promotions for it, which is cool. Like at least they have that, right? Where you get like they had a promotion at one time where it was like get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for like $1 for like 3 months. I mean, it's 3 months, but like. I mean, at least you get some type of like benefit from it, right?
You get some for free, I think, for Discord if you have Discord
Yeah,
Nitro.
you get like perks from like Discord and all that. You can get like some free codes. But that's the essential, right? So it's just your regular like PlayStation Plus. Then you have the PlayStation Extra, right? Which is for $14.99. Now this is what the Ultimate, the Game Pass Ultimate has, and what the Game Pass Ultimate has from Microsoft is it includes Game Pass for PC, for console. It includes the EA Play, and it includes your Xbox Live service. It's all together for $14.99, right? The $14.99 extra one on PlayStation is essentially just that what you got from the Essential plus the PlayStation like Now thing, where they had like their collection of like games, and then the premium, they have a premium
Of
for
course they do.
$17.99, right?
Yeah.
You pay extra, which it's funny that the other one is called extra, and then this one's just premium. But it's it lets you like, it gives you like the whole backwards compatibility and everything. So like you're talking about like the OG games like PlayStation 1, PS2, 3, 4, and I think PSP is included as well. So that is the premium side. They threw in everything they have from PlayStation into a premium subscription service.
Of course they did. So the only reason why anybody would get this, so let me see if I can get this correctly. If I pay, I could stream a game with dropped frames and horrible connections and probably lag and all this other shit. I could stream. I have the privilege of paying to do that. That's number one. Or I could download it. And the only thing people care about is backwards compatibility. Let's be honest. It's the only thing people cared about with PlayStation. It's the one thing people loved about Xbox 360 over the PS3 was that it was just natively backwards compatible. You didn't have to jump through hoops, and that, you know, PS2, everybody loved the PS2 was that, you know, the PS1, that you could just play PS1 games and all of that.
Yeah.
Now they're holding it hostage behind their it's PlayStation's unabashed greed. Now I'm not saying that they're wrong for having a service like this, because Xbox has it and it's the same price, whatever, fine. But you don't really, like, they're just squeezing everything they can into different tiers.
Yeah, essentially, like, yeah, exactly.
Why? Just, you know, like, do you really need to $3 more so that way people, you're gonna pay $20 a month to not even play current PlayStation games?
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like the biggest thing I would say that you would compare these two, right? Because I try not to compare them, because I mean they're two different consoles, right? They have different games most of the time, right? Like
most of the time.
They're exclusives, at least, right?
Yeah, the 3 exclusives that still exist. Yeah.
But like, I mean, I'm not trying to like throw shade at anyone.
I throw all the shade.
PlayStation. I'm pretty neutral, because I used to have a PlayStation, and then I switched to PC, and that is the best decision I've done.
Yes.
Anyways,
yes.
But I would eventually would like to get a PlayStation if I can find one, and if they actually release more games. But at least with Xbox, you get, now it may not be the best games out there, right?
Yeah.
But at least with Xbox, you do get like a day one release, you know, which is cool, because I mean, whatever the game is, whether it does good or not, it's a game that comes with your subscription, and it's brand new.
Yeah.
Like, the more new games you get, I think that's pretty good. I mean, I just recently played a brand new game that came out on Xbox. It's a small indie game, right? Weird West, and I like it.
Yeah.
I spent a few hours on it, and I was like, this is cool. When you could technically purchase that game for $40, it comes with the Xbox Game Pass, and I get to play it on PC.
Yeah.
So like, you know, that in a way has like, I feel like it has that type of benefit. And now it might have like this subscription for PlayStation might have its own benefit for them, right? For people who play PlayStation, right? Anyone who plays the PlayStation, but you don't get any like day one exclusives on this.
Devoid of features. Imagine my surprise.
I mean, so in a way, yeah, you're right. You're technically just playing. You're paying a little extra just so you could play all the older games that made you happy. You know, or like for the nostalgia factor. But that's really it, honestly.
That's what I mean. Like, I again, I don't fault PlayStation for coming up with this service. I think
Mhm.
honestly, the PlayStation Plus, or the original way they had the subscription service and everything, worked.
Mhm.
Um, honestly, I had some PlayStation Plus for a while. It was good. You download a game, you keep it for as long as you have Plus. The moment you don't have Plus, you can't play the game. So it
Yeah.
encourages you to keep playing Plus, and like I'm okay with that. I don't think that's too greedy. It bristles me a little bit because I got the game, but I also got it for free, so I paid for it with the subscription.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, again, it's PlayStation milking everything they can. Like, why not do a 10.99 tier or 9.99 tier that doesn't include the
Mhm.
monthly, doesn't include anything else, but gives you the backwards compatibility? Why don't they do that? Because they know that's what everybody wants. So what
Yeah.
do? They put it in the highest tier. And that's the
Yeah.
part that bristles me a little bit. That's the part where it's like, it's just naked greed at that point, because you're supposed to, theoretically, you're supposed to be like, look, we know people want our games. Put the day one exclusives on the highest tier. Put make that be the streaming thing and all of that, along with day one exclusives as your highest tier.
I
No.
mean, honestly, I thought that that's what was gonna happen. Honestly, after seeing the subscription, like I didn't really like dig deep into it. I was just kind of like, oh, well, now finally PlayStation is coming out with their newest subscription. That's gonna be like, I guess, competing with the Game Pass, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're right. Yeah, no like day one exclusives, which to me I find that very strange because like I feel like that would be more beneficial, right, to the plan where
You
at
would
least
think,
you can add the only like three games whatever that came out.
but you
Yeah,
you
they came out for it, but
You would think, but like again, it's PlayStation recognizing they don't have much because games nowadays. Like, I'm not one of these people like, back in my day. That's not what I mean. But
yeah,
if you look at games now that are coming out, what are the things that people are most excited for? Remakes,
yeah, true,
remasters.
true.
There's some sequels out there like God of War Ragnarok, but again, God of War, what was that? A reinvention of an old property.
True.
The real only original property that I can think of off the top of my head that is really, its own thing and has come about in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years was Horizon Zero Dawn. That really took off.
True, yeah.
Um, maybe you want to say The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2, but The Last of Us was more
Yeah,
end of PS3 era.
yeah.
You
Released.
know, like there
Yeah,
isn't
you're
there
right.
isn't much originality on the horizon. You have a lot of Final Fantasy VII remake,
True.
Knights of the Old Republic remake. You
Yeah.
have all of these games that are coming out. Like the last two games I bought, or the last game I bought, and I got a code from you, and the last game I bought was Mafia and Mafia 2 remastered.
Hmm.
I can't.
Yeah.
The last original game I bought, I refunded. I refunded and used the $10 to buy Mafia 2 from my
Don't
Steam
do it,
wallet.
bro. Don't do me like that, bro.
So it's like you get these indie games like Phasmophobia and
Yeah.
those games that we play, like PC games. But tell me off the top of your head the last PlayStation original title that got you excited, and that was within the last 5 to 6 years.
Probably Ghost of Tsushima, maybe.
Yeah, that would be
I
one.
think that is an
Yeah,
exclusive title, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
an
yeah,
original title.
yeah. Ghost of
I would
Tsushima.
probably say, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima was
Yeah.
probably the last one. And now with the PS5, it's not really that many games out, but I would say maybe Returnal. But that's it. Like
Yeah.
that was really it. That really
That's
that they put out. That was like, I guess, I actually don't know if Returnal was a heavy hitter, but I know Ghost of Tsushima was.
Yeah,
It was
Ghost of
well
Tsushima
received,
for sure.
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ghost of Tsushima was
but yeah,
original. Horizon
hmm
Zero Dawn when it came
Zero
out
Dawn.
and the
Yeah,
PS4 was original,
yeah, hmm
and they just had the PS5, PS4 Forbidden West sequel.
yeah,
But that's really about it that I can think of off the top of my head now. If anybody could think of some, please put it in the comments.
yeah,
Because I'd like to know some because I can't think of any, and that's a
yeah.
problem.
I mean, that could be because I don't have a PlayStation anymore. But I mean, even then,
But
like,
even still, you keep your
I
ear to the
don't
ground with
really.
games.
True, yeah, I don't really know any big games for PlayStation. I'm not too
Right.
sure.
So what they're saying is we don't have shit. What we
So
do
play our
have,
all other stuff.
yeah, what we do have was, 15, 20 years ago, pay $20 to go on a nostalgia trip. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, it's squeezing $7 extra than I would be okay with. And you could say $7 isn't much, but it adds up per month, and I feel like I don't like greed.
yeah,
I don't like greed. It doesn't take much to make these games backwards compatible. At least playable. Not talking about remastered and revamped, just playable.
yeah,
But it's just again, it's PlayStation being PlayStation, and they are like honestly, when I hooked up a capture card to my PlayStation, they got all butthurt with me. I had to turn a setting off, and if you've ever hooked up a capture card to a PlayStation, you know what I'm talking about. They get all butthurt with you. Again, it's PlayStation just at every turn, just being onerous about things,
yeah.
onerous and greedy, and it ruffles my feathers something fierce. And I hate that this is a thing. I don't necessarily blame them that the idea. I hate the execution.
Yeah, true. You're right. Yeah.
Because I don't fault Xbox for it. Honestly, I don't fault Xbox for it. I think Game Pass was a success. When I first heard it, I was like, "This is the stupidest thing." Here
Yeah,
we go.
same.
More.
Same.
I don't need a fucking Netflix for games. But
Yeah.
as time went on, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty. It's a smart idea, and I give them. This is one idea that I hated at first. Got more
Yeah.
information, and I came around on it, and
I
now.
mean, because it just feels like beneficial if you love
Yeah.
Xbox, right? Because it's like, and not only that, but like myself as a PC player, I mean, I'm on my PC most of the time, and if I do play Xbox, it's probably just to play with my friend. That's it.
But you can
but
get Game
I don't
Pass on PC.
exactly.
That's
That was, I think that's kind of what got me.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
you can get Game Pass for PC, and the
Mhm.
games, most of the games now come for console or PC.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have, like, you don't even have to have an Xbox for the subscription.
Yeah.
You could just get for the Xbox the Game Pass for PC.
Yep.
And you literally will have most of the library from the Xbox
Mhm.
on PC. You see, like, that to me is a way to kind of go out of your comfort zone and be like, I mean, now obviously this is Microsoft, right? I
Yeah,
mean, they're known
yeah.
for PC, but that's a way to make the subscription service kind of beneficial to the person getting it, because it's like, not only do you get it if you have a console, but if you have a PC too, you can play the games on there if you prefer, and on top of that, you can get the monthly free games, right? And you can get EA Play is
Yeah.
included with it. I
Yep.
mean, you're getting a bunch of stuff for it, and I feel like
Get a lot of
that's
bang
just-
for your buck.
exactly, yeah, you're right. And so, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's just a better type of subscription. We'll have to
Mhm.
see maybe if they kind of maybe tweak it or whatever, or to see actually what will be the final thing. I'm not too sure when this will come out, or if it came out already. It didn't really say in the
Yeah.
article, but I guess we'll have to see what people think about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. One thing about the Game Pass that I will say being on PC is a benefit. There's some people I've played Sea of Thieves with, and a lot of them got it on Game Pass,
Yeah,
and they play. It makes it affordable, and when you make
Yeah,
things affordable,
exactly.
it opens up access. And I
It's
hate
very
that.
friendly, like consumer friendly. Yeah,
Right, and that's why I give Microsoft credit because theirs is more consumer friendly. Now we'll
Yeah.
see. Maybe PlayStation will do some things. Maybe there'll be promotions. Maybe who knows. maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll rework how they do it in the tiers and the benefits. But as it's announced, as it's presently announced, as it stands at the moment, it seems very cheap to take the thing that they
Yeah.
know everybody is only there for and admit we don't got shit coming, so we're gonna charge you extra to go on a nostalgia trip. I just don't like that. So,
No,
I,
no, I totally understand. I agree with you. Yeah.
but BB, do you want to know the funny thing?
What?
We spoke about when we were doing a production meeting for the show that we might run a little long. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's an hour. We've been here for an hour.
We
So
got it.
we
on
got
target.
yeah, we got 56 minutes. So
Awesome.
any parting words for the people out there?
I always have to say this because I appreciate anyone who's still here and watching us to this in this very moment. You're the MVP. Okay,
Mhm.
pat yourself in the back, clap. You know, I don't know, whatever you do to celebrate. I guess I don't know.
Twerk.
Yes. But no, thank you so much for joining us on the BB&J Show. It's always a fantastic time, and I love doing this. And thank you for being my partner in crime, Jake.
Oh, always. Thank you for being the BB in the BB&J Show. Yes, as BB said, thank you so much. If you've stuck around to this point in the video, you are a champ. We'll be back. We always say next time. We always try to act like we don't do this on a schedule, but we all know we'll be back next week unless unless there's something happens in either of our lives. But we thank you sincerely. We love all the feedback and all the comments and likes and everything that you get on this video. If you are watching this video and you're stuck around to this point, because we actually never say this. We should say this. We're bad YouTubers. Please leave a like on this video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and if you feel so inclined, ding the dong, and you'll be notified when we put new videos up. So we have something very special we're cooking up for you. I am so excited. We can't announce it quite yet, but stay tuned. Watch this space. You're going to want to subscribe to the channel. You're probably going to want to ding the dong and hear what we have because there's something very special cooking up from the BB&J Show. It's exclusive. It hasn't been seen before, so stay tuned for that. For BB, I'm Jay. This has been the BB&J Show. We'll see you next time. Stay safe and be well.
What up, fam? Thanks for watching.
For more of the BB&J Show, click subscribe, click like, and click the bell for notifications when we release new videos.